Hiya, welcome back to Duke on a Bike. I wasn't planning to do any recording on this bit of the road because it's a road you've seen a couple of times, but there's been something sort of playing on my mind a little bit recently, and it all stems from the fact that a little while ago, I'm not sure when I'm going to put this video up, so I'm just going to say a little while ago, I took part in a funeral escort for a young lad, a young biker that was tragically killed. And it struck me that obviously it was a while ago that the young fellow had died, and there was all sorts of speculation going about as to what happened and the circumstances of the accident. And it seemed kind of overwhelmingly looking for a way to blame the motorcyclist for his own demise, which is completely contrary to what happens when someone's killed, for example, in a car crash or something like that. If it's a car crash, it's a bad road, it's a bad corner, bad junction, somebody, the guy coming the other way wasn't looking where he was going, etc, etc. There's always seemed to be some kind of way of shifting the blame away from the poor person that's been killed when it comes to car crashes. And I mean, we all know there's no such thing as a bad road, there's only inappropriate driving. Certainly some roads are inadequate for the volume of traffic that they currently carry. But there's no such thing as a bad road. But when it comes to motorcyclists, it seems to be, oh, he was going too fast, he was riding like an idiot, there's da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And it seems a strange anomaly to me. And to be honest with you, I'm no less guilty than others in this regard. You do obviously wonder what happened, and you do kind of speculate a little bit. So this young lad whose funeral I attended, I'll give you I'll give you four facts, and I want you to just take a wee minute to kind of speculate a little bit as to what you think might have gone wrong. And I don't want you to judge yourselves too harshly. When you hear the facts, you will make certain assumptions, but don't judge yourselves for that. So the four set of circumstances are: the lad was 18 years old, only 18. He was riding a 125 on a CBT. He crashed at 4 a.m, 4 o'clock in the morning, and he hit a tree. So that's the four facts. And I want you to kind of think about those facts in order. So the young lad was 18. Are we going to judge him by our own standards when we were that age perhaps, and say he was riding too quickly, or he was inexperienced? He was riding a 125 on a CBT, so again that perhaps speaks to a certain amount of inexperience. He was riding at 4 a.m. That's led to quite a lot of speculation that I've heard. Anything from he was at a party and he was drunk going home. I've heard drugs mentioned. I've heard it was a stolen motorbike. I've heard all sorts of things. People speculating how this young lad, it could have been his own fault. And the last fact was he hit a tree. So again, you perhaps think to yourself, he was going too fast, he maybe misjudged a corner, swerved to avoid something on the road perhaps. All these things go through your mind. And as I say, don't judge yourself for doing that, but there's a lot of that thing, or those things that speak to, in one way or another, the young lad being to blame. What was he doing out at 4 o'clock in the morning on a bike? You know, young lad on his own, etc., etc. And what I'll do is I'll give you the actual facts of the case. So yes, he was 18. Yes, he was riding a 125 and a CBT. Speaking to his friends at the funeral, they seemed to reckon that he was a fairly competent rider. And judging by some of the riding that I saw by his friends at the funeral, that's not a bad accolade. There was some pretty decent riders there, young lads, still in 125s. So we'll say that he was fairly competent. 4 o'clock in the morning. What was he doing out at 4 o'clock in the morning? No, he wasn't stealing motorbikes. No, he wasn't. Come on, chaps, it's not that sharp. He wasn't coming back from a party drunk. He was going to his work. So the picture that perhaps is painted of a young lad going out getting pissed and jumping on his bike is completely false. The young lad was going to his work. He worked on a farm. Now, no one who takes a job on a farm is shy of hard work or early starts. So a hard-working young lad out going to his work at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm going past some of them. An Aston Martin. So the last part, straight my stick, the last piece of the puzzle is he hit a tree. So again, you automatically assume that he's gone off the road somewhere and gone into a tree through circumstances as yet unknown. What you're not going to ask yourself is, where was the tree? In this particular case, the tree was in the middle of the road. The tree had fallen across the road, and on a fairly quiet country road as he was going to his work on a farm at 4 o'clock in the morning when it was dark. Lights on a 125 generally aren't that brilliant. Didn't see the tree and hit it and was tragically killed. So, of the vast amounts of speculation that was going about when the accident originally happened, and the amount of blame that was put on the young lad, you can just see it's been an absolutely tragic and freak accident. But I mean, that case illustrates a point in that why is it always the motorcyclist that is to blame for his own demise, and it's not the case with other drivers. Certainly not the case with other cyclists. It just seems to be a very strange anomaly. Anyway, the young lad was called Harry Watson. He was only 18 years old, which is a bloody tragedy. He had his whole life ahead of him. It was a privilege to take part in his funeral escort. I think there was round about 40 bikes, which, considering his funeral was held on a Monday, is testament to the brotherhood of motorcyclists. So all I can do is urge you to ride safe, ride defensively, take care, catch you in the next one. Bye.